We've been hearing for months that Belal Muhammad made an appearance on the Pound for Pound show with Kamaru Usman and Henry Cejudo, but the episode was never released. And now Belal Muhammad did his own podcast with Full Send, talking to them about the incident. And Belal gives his side of the story here. This is the first time we've really heard Belal go into detail about what happened. He was very vague about it over the last little bit. And of course, Belal going to be defending his title this Saturday in Montreal at UFC 315. So in today's video, we're going to talk about what Belal says, and I'm going to give my thoughts on everything that's going on with this podcast episode, which has not been posted at the time of recording this. So here is Belal talking about the whole podcast that has not aired with Kamaru Usman and Henry Cejudo.
And you're not going to want to put it out there.
What happened?
We were on this podcast, and Henry Cejudo was like, how does it feel to be champion? And, you're at the top now. And I'm like, it feels good right now because everybody wants to listen to you. Everybody thinks you're the champ. Usman's like, I was a champ too. It's like, yeah, but you're not the champ anymore. And then he just couldn't let it go. He's like, but I'm right there. I was like, nah, bro, you're on a 3-fight losing streak. And he's like, I still had the belt. And I was like, I'm the champion now. But he just couldn't give me my props, right? It was just one of those where he was just like, but anything you do, I do better than you. And then I was like, but you didn't take the head kick better than me. And I think that just triggered him, where he was just like, I don't play these games, man. It's on site when people talk like that. And I'm just like, we're right in front of each other on site. So then,
you guys did it in person?
Yeah, it was in person.
Oh, because they do it over Zoom sometimes too.
No, this was in person. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
We had the same manager, right?
Yeah.
Ali was like,
Ali's the GOAT.
Bro, yeah, he's the man. And when he told me to go do their podcast, I was like, are you sure? He said, no, brother, it's going to be professional. It's going to be this. You're good. I was like, bro, it doesn't matter to me. I'm the champ. I don't really care. I'll go on the podcast. And then, Henry Cejudo twisted his ankle, had to break it up. But
you guys actually got into a physical?
Yeah. But
have you guys said that publicly ever or no?
Yeah. I mean, I think I didn't know put that out there. But like I said, they had the footage, right? Maybe he's waiting to.
So you guys actually got into it. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, so much to unpack here. First off, I don't ever remember Belal saying they got into an altercation. I remember hearing that something happened, but I didn't know they actually got toe-to-toe. Why aren't they releasing the footage? I understand it. I'm sure Usman, he probably didn't come across that well, but this reminds me of the whole situation we had with the Jackson podcast where they had the Bryce Mitchell episode up and then they took it down because they were worried about how bad they would look. This is the exact same thing here. I don't know why they're not putting it out there. To me, this is worse trying to hide from this. This is the internet. If something's on there, if something happens, I mean, Belal just said clear as day here that him and Usman got into it. Why won't they just release the footage? To me, it's way worse to hide from this than pretend it didn't happen because the internet remembers forever. And I think this is just a really bad look here for Kamaru Usman. Now, obviously, Henry Cejudo, I'm sure, would love to get the episode up. This would help their show. I mean, their show's very successful. I'm not saying that, but why wouldn't you release this? This is a viral moment. This is something that I think would really get more attention on the show. And I understand Kamaru's not going to come off looking great in this, but why not release it and then, try and explain yourself, as to what happened. Maybe it wasn't explainable. I don't know. But I just think trying to hide from something like this in 2025 is not a good look at all. And I think that Belal Muhammad came across looking really great here. I mean, he just said it. For Usman to downplay what he did to Leon Edwards for him to win the title, I think is not in very good taste here. Now, we've heard some rumors as well. Obviously, Usman, there's been some rumors throughout the years about him having a bit of an ego, and it's understandable. I don't blame certain fighters for feeling a certain way. I think you have to get to be a certain way for some people to get to that high level of winning a title. I understand that, but it just sounds like Usman was disrespectful. And then when Belal came to the table and brought some facts and talked about how he knocked out Edwards, it definitely, like Belal said here, definitely triggered Usman and it caused them to get into an altercation. But I mean, they fight for a living. Why don't just release the footage? To me, it's way worse here, them not showing it and trying to hide. And I blame Cejudo in this situation too, because it's your show. Convince your co-host to release it. I don't know if their manager's being involved in this. Again, the manager, same manager they referenced here, he manages Cejudo, Usman, and Belal. Is it like damage control? I don't know. And of course, Usman's got a fight book now, going to be taking on Joaquin Buckley on the UFC Atlanta card. But yeah, I think this is one of the times that Belal Muhammad has certainly won everyone over here. If you're Kamaru Usman or you're any of Usman's supporters, I think this is a terrible look, trying to hide and run away from something that's actually happened here. So yeah, release the footage. I hope they do. I mean, this was a while ago too, right? We've been hearing about this for months, that this podcast took place and they're not going to bring it to light. So I don't know. I just think like if you're trying to sweep this under the rug in 2025, this is definitely not what's going to happen. And this is a fight that may never happen. I mean, if Usman doesn't beat Buckley, there's a very little chance that Belal gets that fight. Now saying that Belal could lose this weekend, maybe that does put things in perspective. But if you're the UFC as well, why aren't you saying release the footage, right? If these two ever did fight, you've got your promotional footage. You don't need to do a countdown show. You just need to show this episode here. So from that perspective, I don't really understand what the thinking is. And again, Cejudo as well, they should at least acknowledge it. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. You let me know in the comments, but I don't think Cejudo or Usman have really even acknowledged this. It's like they're trying to pretend it doesn't happen. And like I gave the example of Bryce Mitchell. I mean, the Jackson podcast got a ton of backlash for taking down the Bryce Mitchell episode. So this is, I think they saw firsthand what can happen. Fans will turn on you and all that. I don't think Usman especially does not look good here, but I think Cejudo also looks bad. Like, why are you guys not, releasing footage from a show? It's not like, Usman said anything that could get him canceled. Maybe, I mean, I don't think that's what happened. They got into a fight. And I think what it boils down to is that Usman didn't look very good and he's worried about it hurting his image or something, but I don't know. Again, these guys fight for a living. If they did get into an altercation, why not show it? And then, yeah, like Belal said, maybe they're trying to edit it, but I think it would have been out by now if that's the case. But listen, this is all we know. Belal did the podcast. Usman and Cejudo know they did the podcast. Release the footage. Get it out there. I don't know. Like, I just think that you can't hide from anything in this day and age with, everything that goes on in the internet. If something happened, it's, it should be there to the public. And you can see here, no sign of it, nothing. And these guys do, they do a great show. This is one of the shows that has really, driven the news cycle. I'm always hearing opinions from them. I don't necessarily agree with a lot of the things they've been saying, but, they have to get the episode out. Otherwise, I think Usman's going to lose even more fans than he is before here. But yeah, good for Belal Muhammad speaking out on this. Again, big fight against Jack Della Maddalena coming up this Saturday for UFC 315. We'll see. I mean, he's favored to win. He should win. But this right here is your promotional material. This is one of the issues that the UFC has sometimes in getting fans interested in fights. This is the type of stuff that is absolute gold. So, let's say Belal does lose and Usman wins. That's a fight that could certainly make sense. So I'm, kind of thinking of this out, I'm doing this on the fly. This is a fight that could happen, right? Like, it could potentially lead to a fight happening between the two. Even if Usman wins and Belal wins, that's also a fight that could happen potentially down the line now that you have this built-in thing here. So we'll see. I'm hoping with this clip being out, this is going to put pressure on Usman and Cejudo to release it. Again, they have a show. I think at the very least, they got to acknowledge what's going on with the footage, respond to Belal, get some sort of video out here. But I'm looking on their channel right now. There's nothing to, I'll even just do a quick search here if they've got Belal, anything they've responded to this. So it looks like he's responded to the Belal beef. That was 8 months ago. I think this podcast happened after, is my understanding. So yeah, release the footage. It's never a good look. And who knows whose decision this is? Is it Usman's? Is it his manager? It's one of the two that's not deciding to do this. So good win here for Belal Muhammad. I think he's going to gain more fans speaking honestly on what happened in this situation. And the fact that they went toe-to-toe. So very interesting stuff there. So I want to know what you guys think in the comment section below. What do you think of this whole situation? Should they release the footage? I doubt there's going to be anyone here watching this saying they shouldn't release the footage. What do you think really happened that made Usman not, I think there was also talk that Belal said he got teary-eyed or something. He didn't say it here, but that's sort of what, had been said over the last couple of months. So I don't know, but I'll say it one more time. Release the footage. Everyone will be happier that way. Follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, @LynchOnSports. My name is James Lynch. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.